So yesterday was my third day of training, I think. No, second. It was just my second. Is that right? Was it Monday, Tuesday? Yeah, it was my second. That's weird. It feels like more. It felt good. I uh I The coffee's like perfect today. I love when it's like that. It's like the perfect taste. Yesterday I did kickboxing and then no-gi jiu-jitsu. The kickboxing was fun. I definitely think I need to like talk with a coach. I think today is like sparring for. Oh no, I'll be doing boxing. Either way, at some point I'm gonna like talk to a coach and just be like, hey, show me what should I work on to like make my punches technical. Like how to actually throw a punch, and then I could just like hit a bag for a while. I think on my free time I'll just be able to work on that. But it was fun. I was working with this one dude. His name was Jose. Uh, it was kind of interesting. He didn't think he spoke that good English, but I thought he spoke really good English. And I told him, I was like, it's better than my Spanish. you know, I can't speak Spanish at all. A little bit, but not. It's not good. But it's interesting. He sounded like Cheeto Vera. I don't know if many people know that Marlon Vera. He's a UFC fighter. He just sounded like him. I thought it was kind of interesting. But he was super nice. He was a little bit new too, but he's been doing it a little longer. And we were like doing like combos, and then we were doing pad work. It was fun. I just like it's fun doing it. I think like I will really get into striking and have a lot of fun with it. I could feel myself like getting into a flow, and I'd feel like once I get like crisp technique or work on having crisp technique, and then I also add in that fun flowing, I think I'll have a lot of fun in the striking classes, even without sparring. And I think going back to what I said, like, I think the idea when I'm not sparring would be, hey, go up to the coach, I don't want to spar. Can you show me all the punches that I need to be able to do? And then I could just work on that. So I'm getting like an idea of how I'm gonna learn more and more. And then, so the striking class was fun. People there are cool. Everyone's nice. Um, the jiu-jitsu class was very, very simple. All we did was it was like three really quick, not even like techniques. There was like half guard retention with a knee shield, and then half guard retention to like a butterfly, half butterfly. And then we did lockdown, like you get the lockdown and extend it out. And then we did the person on top, when you have them locked down, they like get their foot free, and then they like put you in this like leg drag position almost. And that was it. And then we just like rolled for like a solid like 5 or 6 rounds, which I was stoked about. I was like kind of worried that we weren't going to be able to roll a lot, because I know in jiu-jitsu like rolling's super important. Drilling is just as important, but it's like a small time frame. So I kind of hope the coach goes into more detailed techniques, and I'll just stick it out and find out. But either way, I think I'll be able to like learn stuff. I was I was kind of thinking about Danaher's, like when Danaher talked about how like you should train with people that are of lower level than you, like 80 to 90% of the time or something, so that then you can, when you're sparring, you can actually develop technique and work on it. And I figured, regardless of what like is taught, I can just seek out like lower belts, and I'll have to make it mutual. I can't just like smash them all the time. It'll have to be like half the round I kind of do my thing, and then the other half I like let them work what they want to work. But I think that this is a cool opportunity to explore a different way of like teaching myself things. So instead of just rolling with people that are as good or better than me consistently, it'll just be like going with guys that are a little bit less good and trying to like work on all the techniques I want to develop. So that'll be good. My whole body is sore today, in a good way, and I'm like, it's a good feeling too. It feels like your body's like growing when that happens. My whole body's like sore, but it's not too sore. It's the type of sore where like once you get warmed up, it just goes away. So I'm feeling good about that. I really like the physical aspect of training, so I'm stoked to just have this feeling in my body. Oh, and then yesterday from wrestling, I don't like have a very strong stance, and probably I probably have like weak Mac Mac muscles, back muscles. And just from like people from a tie just like pulling my head down and me resisting it, my like left lower lat just got super tight. So yesterday I woke up and I was like, oof. But I it was cool. I went in the sauna. First I stretched, went in the sauna, got home. I hit it with my massage gun. Then I iced it, took a nap, and some ibuprofen. So I just like threw everything at it. And the ibuprofen helped me kind of get into practice. Like all of that helped me get into practice. And once I was warmed up, I couldn't even feel it. And then last night, when I got back, I was like, I'm gonna sauna right away so my muscles stay loose. And then once I get home, I ate a really nice dinner and I took some ibuprofen again. I usually don't like using ibuprofen, but I see its use now, whereas like when your muscles get tight, all you need is for them to loosen up. Like your muscles seem to get injured if they're tight, and then they stay tight, and then you keep training. That's when you get like those jabbing pains in your muscles where it feels fucked. And I woke up today, and sleep too. It's like I took a nap yesterday after all of that, and I slept pretty good tonight or last night. And I woke up and like I can feel my back a little bit, but it's like 50% better than it was when I woke up yesterday, which is awesome. And so I'll probably maybe sauna before practice again, and then when I get back, sauna again. I love having the sauna here. It's so useful. I lay down in it too, just to like, because normally I sit up in it, but I was like, I have to let my back muscles completely relax in there. I don't want it holding my body up, so I just laid down. That felt good. I've noticed that this is turning into like my own journal. It's kind of interesting. This is like adequate enough because this is stuff that I would just be journaling about in my book. And this is adequate enough. It's interesting. It's like talking to a friend and sorting out your thoughts. Where I sit down and I actually want to do this. It's not like I'm making myself do it. Like I woke up this morning and I got my coffee and I was like, I'm gonna go do this. So it's interesting. I wonder if talking, you have to be doing it a certain way. I imagine, like if you're talking into the camera and you're changing the way you are because you're gonna post it, maybe it's not gonna have the same therapeutic effect. And I imagine that I'm probably tweaking my behavior a little bit and not talking about everything I would if I was journaling, because I am going to post it. There's probably, even if I'm not consciously aware of it, I'm probably doing it. But even then, I feel like I'm doing my best to just try and be open and authentic and like vulnerable. And the way that I am like excited to talk, I wonder if like I have a feeling it's like therapeutic to a certain degree. So I think that's pretty interesting. My job gave me the schedule I wanted, which I was super stoked about. They I asked them, I reminded them, and then they posted the schedule and I got it. I said I want 3 days off in the week, ideally in a row, but if not, that's fine. And then next week was posted. It might change here and there because I don't think it's a consistent schedule all around. But if they did it for my first week, at least they like kept that in mind. So I was really stoked about that. Especially like 3 days off is so nice. Like I can do 5 days a week, but I don't like doing 5 days a week. Eventually, I want to only do three, but just for money wise, like four is probably adequate right now. And then after a couple months, I'll see how much I make. You know, if I save up enough money each little month, then that's perfect. You know, I could do this for a while and just save up a bunch of money because I feel like as long as I'm able to focus outside and get the training that I feel like I want, then I'll be stoked to go to work. What else? I really like the change of like my hours being worked. Like today, even I went to bed around 10 last night. I woke up around 3 just like kind of wide awake. I notice when I train, I get amped. It's so fucking weird. I remember this happened when I started training when I first moved here. I was sleeping really good and then I started training and then my sleep just like hit the fan. Like it just wasn't able to sleep good. It's like I'll be tired and I'll go to sleep, but I'm just amped up. It's so weird. Like if I and like this is something I've realized long before. Like I can't even think about martial arts when I'm in bed, or else my body starts getting tense. Like if I think about jujitsu, I start tensing up. So, um, yeah, I woke up at like 3, just like fully awake, but then I like just laid in bed till I went back to sleep. But I woke up today at like 6:37, and I just feel good. You know, like I feel like my body naturally wakes up at this time and feels good. And I haven't worked mornings in years. I've only done night times for the past like 3 or 4 years. Yeah, for the last time I worked morning was when I lived here last, and I wasn't even just doing morning. I was doing a night shift too after the morning, so it wasn't even like I wasn't even getting what I the benefits of like going to sleep at a normal time. Yeah, yesterday though I liked it. I was like I woke up after training in the evening. I woke up and my body's super sore, and it's like I don't have to go to normally it would be like if I woke up sore, you know, because I'd train, I'd go to work, get home late, sleep, wake up, and I'd be sore, and then it'd be time to train already. Like I wouldn't have time to recuperate because after training I'd be working, so I wouldn't even be resting. And what's nice is having these days off in the way that I have them. Most of my training is on the days off, which is perfect. And so when I wake up and I'm sore, say I wake up at like 7 and I'm super sore, I have all day until like 4:30 is when I will leave. And so it's perfect. It gives me time to eat good, to like recover however I need. Like yesterday when I went in the sauna and I used the massage gun, all that stuff, like I wouldn't be doing if I was training early in the morning. So just having all this time before I go in and train, I'm finding I really like for the pace that I want to train at, you know. So far, I'm liking it. I'm gonna give it a couple weeks to kind of sort out my training and see when I have extra time and where I can add in other stuff. I have a feeling it'll be on the weekends, like because I'm not training over the weekends and I work over the weekends, so I'll have Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night not training, which is perfect because then that gives me time to do other things, which I'm excited. Like, I want to read. I have books that I want to read. I have like 3 of them that I have. I have read through 2 of them. One of them, like, not all the way, but like pretty thoroughly. And then one of them I started, but just switched to the other book. And I have these books by Jung that I want to read, but it's like supposed to be like really hard. Like, you literally have to buy. I'll show you. I have them behind this. So you have Jung's book called Ion, which I don't even know what it's about. And then when you look at all the reviews, it's like, buy this book, it'll help you understand it. So it's like you have to buy a book where someone else is describing what he's talking about. And in the book, I'll just read this to you real quick, because I thought this was really interesting. It's like, it was very humbling. Okay. Yeah. So he was pretty much in the beginning, he was talking about principles to keep in mind while reading the book, Jung's book, and this was the 3rd one. He says, principle number 3 is what I would call the fruitcake principle. By this I mean that you must read Jung the way you eat fruitcake, very slowly. The reading is exceedingly rich, exceedingly delicious, because it is the richness of the psyche itself which is being presented, but it is very concentrated, and especially so in Ion. Jung just alludes to a vast area of symbolic references because he does not want to write too long a book, and because these areas are so familiar to him that it would be boring to him to spell it all out. He just alludes, and one has these kernels, these rich pieces of nut and heavy fruit, which have to be masticated and digested slowly in order to be appreciated. And then he goes on to be like, you pretty much have to just understand everything. Like, if you read a sentence and you're like, you don't understand what a word is, or you don't, like, if he references some mythology, he's like, you gotta look into that and, like, kind of get an idea of what he's saying in that. And when I was last in Vegas, I read a lot of, I didn't read a lot. I read a book of Jung, but it felt like a lot. There was so much packed into it about dreams and shit. Like, I remember having like really vivid, crazy dreams. I remember what started as I listened to this. I mean, I watched. Sorry, my brain's going poop. I dreamt this really vivid dream, and I remember one part in it that really stuck out. And it was so cool. I was like in this jail, and then this dragon broke through the wall. And it was like in the video games, like when there's that in-between scene where it's cinematic. I don't know what it's called, but like it was like that, where the dragon broke in from my view, and then it just like the camera like panned around it, and it was like roaring. And it was vivid. It was so crazy. And I remember just being blown away and being like, holy shit, what the fuck was that? That was such a vivid dream. And then I looked up, I forget how it happened. I know I was listening to Jordan Peterson, and he talks a lot about Jung, so it must have like gotten me to buy a book by Jung. I read A Man and His Symbols. It was like recommended as, like, if you're gonna read Jung, it's like one of the intro books to read, because it's very simple. And from then on, even now, it's like if I have like dreams that are really emotionally significant, I'll kind of break them down and think about them. And so I vibed a lot with what he said. I just never really read anything more. And so I bought this with the intention of just being like, I don't care how long it takes. I'm going to slowly just read it. Because I've noticed that's what I do with books too. Is like I'll read a book. Sometimes like I'll read a book so far through, and then I'll just get bored of it and I put it down, and then I don't touch it. This happened to, I bought Crime and Punishment. I tried reading it, it was like 4 times I read the first 100 pages. Like the first part of the book, I read on 4 different occasions, and I would just always put it down for some reason. And then when I got here, I felt for some reason I was just ready to read it, and I like blew through it. And I kind of realized, I was like, oh, like you buy books, and you might not even be ready to like digest them yet. But the fact that it's almost like there's the idea, like the reason why you're attracted to the book, there's like a concept that's super attractive in the book that you want to integrate into yourself, right? And that's like why you get excited about books. At least for me, I'll get excited about a book because I'm like, oh, this is like Jung is talking about like the history of, I don't even know what this book is about, but like I heard someone talk about it. The way they explained it was something that I was like, oh, I want that in me. I want to understand that. And so then you buy it, and then it like if I start reading this, and then I get bored or just like apathetic towards it, and I just put it down, then it probably is indicating that I was just not ready to fully like digest that book. But then in the future, at some point, I might just, because I have it with me, I'll be like, I'm gonna read this now. So I used to like put pressure on myself to like finish a book right away if I buy it, but I'm realizing that that's not the way that I read books. I'll read a little bit of it and then put it down if I get bored. And some books I just tear through, So yeah. Today I'm gonna finish this coffee, warm it up, and then I might try reading a little bit of this. I kind of feel like doing that. Cook some breakfast, eat really good. I'm gonna like stretch and meditate. Probably jump in the sauna, just relax. Just take it easy. And then I'm gonna go train today. I have wrestling again, which I'm super stoked about. And then I'm gonna go to jiu-jitsu, and then I'm gonna go to boxing. So yeah.